Great to see you and be here today. We are going to talk about a really interesting topic today, and that is shipping and logistics, importing, exporting, all the things about bringing goods from Mexico, Latin America to the US or wherever your destination is, right? Because here at the Evo Latam Expo and the Mexico trip, we want to enable you to source from Latin America. So a little bit about our trip. First of all, we are going back to Mexico February 11th through the 17th of 2023. And we are going to do amazing things. I'm going with my friend Ephraim here from Tactical Logistics Solutions. He's one of our partner sponsors, and we're picking his brain today all about logistics and shipping. But we're going back to Mexico. We were just in Mexico in June. It was amazing. We had a great time. We met lots of suppliers. People are already sourcing from there. So now we're going to deal with, hey, how do we actually import stuff? How do we actually get our stuff over the border? And there's some interesting things, even though there's free trade between Mexico and America, for example, it doesn't mean that we don't have to deal with any border issues. So we're going to do that today. We're going to talk about it. And, Ephraim here is an expert at helping people get their goods from one place to another. And he's here to help answer our questions. So if you guys have questions, please throw them in the chat. We want to hear from you today. And I just want to welcome my friend Ephraim here. And Ephraim, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your background?
Sure. Hi, Amy. It's great to be here and great to see you again. And we're really excited for the next trip because the one in June was amazing. We really enjoyed it. We had a great time there, and a lot of great people came there. So if you don't have your ticket yet, sign up for that because it's a great event and it's great to be there. So a little bit about myself. I was an Amazon seller for 7 years, from 2011 to 2017. And then I stopped selling, and I still love the Amazon community, with everyone helping each other out. So many service providers, sellers, everyone here to help each other out. So I really wanted to stay in the game. I joined my dad's company. It's called Tactical Logistics Solutions. At that time, we were a traditional 3PL for major retailers, not for Amazon. And at that time, we came up with this idea: we're going to be an end-to-end solution for Amazon sellers. So we started, we got licensed as a freight forwarder. So we're a licensed importer. And then we got licensed as a customs broker and as a trucking broker. So over the last 5.5 years, basically what we built is a platform where we take care for an Amazon seller. You want to grow your product, you want to be focused on growing your product on Amazon. Let us deal with the logistic headaches. That means from anywhere between importing, warehousing, trucking, anything related to logistics, to getting into your product quicker on Amazon or on other platforms in a faster way, through one point of contact. So that's what I've been doing for the last 5.5 years. Met thousands of sellers, customers, potential customers, customers that are people that are not customers, but it's just a great community to be part of the Amazon community. For me, it's like family. It's like a second family to me. We see each other by events, and it's like, oh, we spoke yesterday and we didn't see each other for a few months. So it's really beautiful to be part of that community. So I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, for sure. And thank you so much for, being one of our partner sponsors for this event. It doesn't happen without our sponsors, and people are going to be able to visit you at your booth at Evo Latam Expo, which is happening the 15th and 16th of February in Monterey. So let's get into it. My first question for you, Ephraim, is what is the main issue? Like, what is the main thing that people don't know about shipping their goods? What's the main thing that you have to educate people on when bringing stuff from Latin America to the US?
Right. So basically what I've seen just overboard, not only Latin America, just all different countries, is a lot of people are not knowledgeable with duties. That means, what are the taxes going to cost me to get me this product in here in the US? So they see a product selling for Amazon, let's say for $20, their cost is $5, and then they're not sure what duties are going to cost them, right? So if their cost is $5, what is the duties percentage on top of that? So there are, like, importing from China or from India, from other countries, there's tariffs out there. especially that we added a couple of years ago the Trump tariff, where a lot of product got infected with a 25% additional tariff, whatever it was. So a lot of sellers didn't realize that, hey, it might cost me another $4 or $5 in cost on the duties part, and they never put that in consideration when they actually source the product and planning to import it. So that's something really important that I suggest new sellers and even sellers that are big sellers that are importing or starting to manufacture new product is always check what your duties code is going to be, what your cost of manufacturing is going to be, and then factor that in and make sure that that's your cost makes sense and you can be profitable on the item, not wait till you're actually paying for duties and realize, oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to make money on that. So that's the most important thing that I've seen. But what we see with US, Mexico, and Canada, there was the USMCA that the Trump administration added, I think, in 2018, and it went effective in 2020, where there's products that's made in Mexico or made in Canada, by importing that in the US for business purposes, like to resell, sell it, it has a free trade agreement. That means that there's no duties on that. So, but that it's very, very, you got to be very careful with that, because a lot of times product that's been made in Mexico is product that originally comes from China. So I think what I understand from what I read the last couple of months and the last year, where I'm getting more and more educated on the Mexico importing from Latin America, is has to be at least, I think, 60 or 70% that's made in Mexico. So if that's the case, there's a form where you can fill out when you provide your customs broker with a commercial invoice and packing list. There is a third document they have to provide. That's the USMCA agreement. It's a certification of origin. So basically, you fill out the information, your information, the supplier's information, description of goods, what the HDS code is. That's the codes that every product that gets imported to the US has to have a HDS code. And then basically that gets you to have the free tax on it.
Wow. So I have so many questions. The first one that you talked about was that you need to calculate your duties. And because we have free trade, which used to be, what is it? The North American Free Trade Agreement.
Correct.
Which was,
NAFTA.
Yeah, which is now replaced by this USMCA, that we can qualify for free trade, but we have to kind of apply for it. So, and that means that 70% of our materials and goods have to have been made in Mexico, right? So when is there an easy way to calculate that? Is there a calculator somewhere? What should we be looking at? Do people contact you and get help calculating that? How does that work?
They could contact me, but it's basically how it works is basically you ask your supplier if it's everything made in Mexico or in different countries in Latin America. If that's the case, it was more or less manufactured, they're not going to keep you at the 60-70%. It's basically how I look at it is basically, is it made there? Was it manufactured? Was it so, like if it's ribbon, right? If you bought a dress, a hat, anything like that, was it made there? Is the thread from there? Then you're good to go. All you got to do is fill out that form, the certification of origin, that it's made in Mexico or it's made in different countries in Latin America, and then basically you have that, you provide that together with your commercial invoice and packing list, and that should be able to get you eligible to get that as free trade, and that means you're not paying any duties on that.
Okay, got it. So, and then as far as if we don't qualify for that, and maybe we're just using storage solutions in Mexico, because there's really great like prep centers and stuff, you can get your stuff in 2 days, right? So if we don't qualify for that, then we are going to have to calculate duties. And is there an easy way, is there a calculator or something, an easy way to calculate our duties so that we're able to estimate that?
Right. So basically, every time you clear customs in the US, so that if there comes up, like for example, a lot of sellers do that, they bring it into Mexico, and to Manzanillo port, and then they storage it somewhere there. And then once they create a replenishment into Amazon, they'll bring it over the border, and that's when they have to pay the basically the Chinese customs when it comes over that border. You obviously can't avoid that, but at least you're saving the money. Instead of bringing in the full container or a full shipment and paying duties right away, you're basically pushing that off by the time where you're actually taking the goods actually to Amazon. That's way closer to selling your product. So cash flow, it's a very good idea, and a lot of sellers have been doing that. But that said, every time you clear customs, there's a file that's called a 7501. That's the name of that file. That will basically clearly clarify the product you're importing, each SKU, the HTS code on it, and the duties percentage on that. And it will give you the dollar amount. So once you get that form, the 7501, you should be able to request this from your freight forwarder or your custom clearance broker if you use a different one than your freight forwarder. Make sure you get that document after every shipment and just look after that. There is also websites out there. I think there's a government website that's pretty useful. Let me just double check the name of the website so I could make it easier for the listeners.
How do you fit all this stuff in your brain? That's what I want to know.
I'm learning every day still. I'm doing it for 5.5 years. I'm still learning every day. So it's called hts.usitc.gov.
hts.usipc.gov.
Correct. So over there, it's a HTS search. So basically, you can put in the HTS code or a word or a keyword of what the product you're looking at, and basically will give you like a whole list of stuff, and then you try to figure out which one your product gets the closest to that, and then you'll see on the right side on the website, you'll see like the duties code on that. We'll show you what the percentage is.
Did I do that right? IPC?
ITCT.
Guys, let me fix that. Here we go. ITC. Got it. So that is our website that we can use to help figure out our HTS codes and calculate some things. So let's take a step back real quick. The process. Let's just talk about the process. So I found my supplier at Evo Latam Expo. I'm all excited. And by the way, you guys, Evo Latam is the only multi-category trade show in Latin America that's designed for connecting e-commerce buyers around the world with manufacturers in Mexico and Latin America. So you guys are going to come to Evo Latam. You're going to find suppliers from all different categories. The reason we started it is because there wasn't a trade show like this, and we needed to create one. So everybody's very excited about it, and the suppliers are loving it. It's just been a great time. So let's talk about the process. We found our supplier at Evo Latam. We're ready to go. What do we need to do? What's the first? So you talked about the first step is actually when you get your product, you kind of know you got your sample going, everything's good, right? Well, I guess we should talk first about shipping samples. So what is the most common way of shipping small things like samples, or just like if I'm shipping a sample to my supplier in Mexico or vice versa? What's the easiest way to ship something small like that?
Right. So but for that, there is like small partial delivery companies that do that. UPS does it. DHL is the most common one that people use. Even FedEx does it as well. So that probably would be the most economical way. We ourselves don't provide like these small package delivery. I usually refer that to my wife, Pearl. Like that's what they specialize in, importing and exporting small parcel. That's probably the easiest way to go about it. There's USPS out there, but I wouldn't recommend it just because the tracking and everything is just not the best. But DHL and UPS, you can have it by your supplier within 2 to 3 days. So that's amazing to see the sample. Once you're basically, your costs, you made your research on what the HTS code will be and what the percentage is. Your supplier is giving you, let's say it's going to be ready in 4 to 6 weeks. That's how long production will take. I would say 2 weeks before your shipment is ready. Usually your supplier has already the cargo details, like how many master cartons they're going to use, what the DIMS, the weight is going to be. Once they have that information, they can reach out to us, or if you have your own freight forwarder that you want to use, if they do Latin America to the US, reach out to them. A lot of these suppliers are available to go by truck. Sometimes you got to use a sea option. Sometimes it comes out to be cheaper, but most of Mexico, you could get basically a trucker to pick up the goods and bring it over the border. So once you have that in play, we could schedule a trucker to pick it up. Make sure you have the commercial invoice and packing list from your supplier. That's the most important thing. Otherwise, it's not going to be allowed into the US. And have that USMCA certificate filled out, and then you should be good to go. Usually US Customs, to clear customs shouldn't take more than an hour or two. max. Sometimes it could take a couple of minutes. It just depends how busy your broker is that clears the customs. But usually it's an automatic thing. It's not like a manual thing. You just put in the number of the shipment, whatever code they give you, the trucker gives, and that's how they clear customs. So it's a very easy process. Once that's done, the trucker is allowed to come over here into the US and then could have it delivered. Like you could have the supplier label it with the FBA Amazon labels already. It could go directly into Amazon right there from the border, or if you want to keep it in a 3PL, or you want to keep it in your warehouse for some time and drip feed into product to Amazon, that's fine too.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. So just kind of following the same process that we would do anywhere else. It's just the
Correct.
forms are a little different, the duties are a little different, the qualifications are a little different. So we just have to be aware of those things. And then in terms of shipping methods for these larger shipments, so maybe I have an LTL or I have a full truckload, what is the most common shipping process for that? I mean, obviously what's great about Mexico is that we don't have to go sea freight, right? Or we don't have to go air freight. So we're dealing with ground freight, but is that really kind of the same providers that we see in the US, since there are so many import and export companies, right, that are going in between the US and Mexico? But what does it look like for an LTL or an FTL shipment coming from Mexico to the US in terms of?
Right, there's not as many options obviously on the LTL side, because there's like a lot of LTL carriers out here in the US that a lot of them specialize US and Canada, not as much Mexico. But Mexico, there's also a handful of LTL carriers. The benefit of using these LTL carriers are the cost in Mexico usually are much lower than trucking costs here in the US. Especially when you do a full truckload, they can be way cheaper mileage wise. When let's say you ship a product from California to New York, New Jersey, right? Let's say it will cost you a load $6,500, $7,000 right now. When you do the same mileage from Mexico into an Amazon facility or into a location here in the US, it's probably going to be close to half of that. So
wow.
Right. And another benefit is, to my knowledge, is that US has very strict laws with truckers, like with their calendar, how many hours they're allowed to drive, how many hours they have to sleep and take a rest. I think Mexico is a little bit more lenient on that, so they're not as strict as here in the US. So that's why you said, like, sometimes you could have a load picked up at a facility in Mexico and have it in Amazon within 2 days. That's because they don't have as strict rules with the taking breaks as here in the US. So automatically their cost is cheaper because they don't have to sit and sleep in their truck for hours to wait till they're allowed to move forward. They can move forward as much quicker as a US based company. So that's also a benefit by bringing by truck. It's, first of all, you're saving a ton of money on the ocean freight, the sea freight, and then you're paying the trucking fee. It will be probably a lower fee than you would pay here in the US.
Got it. Okay, that makes sense. I love it. Wow. And that seems to make sense why so many people are also switching their prep centers and their storage facilities to Mexico, because like you were saying, we could have one in California and we're paying the trucking fee to get it from that place in California to, whatever Amazon fulfillment center we're going to. And then if we're taking it from Mexico, we can use Mexico shipping companies, which are going to be a lot cheaper. And it's usually the same time frame in terms of getting goods into, because most of the prep centers and stuff like that are right on the border. So they're
Correct.
able to, take that and move forward. So that's a really interesting, it's a really, really interesting way to look at it. And I just want to say hi to Tim Windsor. Thank you, Tim, for saying hello. He's always here. He's great. Thank you so much, Tim. Great to see you today. I hope you're having a great day. So, I mean, do you know anything about that? Have you dealt with anybody who's storing and shipping in from Mexico? Or most people that you're dealing with have suppliers there and then they're bringing products in?
So yeah, most people that I've dealt with have suppliers there and they bring it to our 3PL. I've had one particular customer that did storage right next to San Diego because there's a border right there. It's not the safest area in Mexico. I'm right across the border from San Diego, so there's a lot of theft there and stories like that. So there are a lot of sellers that do that, though. It's not like it's not a business out there. Just make sure you do the right research. They're trusted people, and make sure that they're in a good, safe area. There's a lot of safe areas in Mexico. We've been to Mexico City. It's a beautiful city, amazing people. And also like the people that came to Eve all the time, they're legit companies, people that you could trust, people that do business, they want to grow, into the US market. So yeah, there's just, you got to know what the good apples and the bad apples are, but there's a lot of good business to be done in Mexico, and there's a lot of potential eventually. We're right now in the research process to open up a warehouse in near Manzanillo port. That's the port where the biggest port in Mexico, where stuff coming from China and other countries. Just we're having an issue with the trust and everything like that, but we're working through it, and we're doing a lot of research how to get set up and how to have a good team there. So yes, in every country there's good and the bad. Just make sure you're in the good hands. You did the right research. You have good reviews. You ask for references that make sure that they're all good, and then go ahead and do business there. But other than that, it's a great place to do business with.
I love that you brought up safety, because honestly, it is one of the biggest questions that we get. People are wondering, is it safe? And even when I was taking China trips, and I'm still planning on going back to China as well, but when I was taking China trips, people would be like, is it safe? Can I go? Right? And that is the number one question that we get about Mexico. Is it safe? And I'm in all of these expat Facebook groups. There's over 1 million expats from the US living in Mexico. It's a very awesome place to live, great cost of living, friendly people. Many of them speak English. It's just an awesome place. But of course, we see all of these, like we've got Narcos on Netflix, which is a really great show, but it does make us worry about our safety in Mexico. And it's funny because when I'm in these expat Facebook groups and somebody brings up something about safety, like all of the people from the US like jump to because they live in Mexico, right? They jump on it and they're like, no, it's so safe here, go to Chicago, right? So I agree. Anytime you brought up a really good point, anytime that you're doing business with anybody, whether it's in the US or whatever, you need to check them out and make sure that they're legit, because there's fly-by-night companies everywhere. How many places in China have we seen people give their money and their goods never arrived because that factory or supplier didn't even exist, right? So we want to do the same thing anywhere we go, anywhere we're sourcing from, anywhere where we're storing our goods. We want to check and make sure that it's safe, that it, that it makes sense. As far as where we're going in Monterey, so our last event was in Mexico City, and our next event is in Monterey. I just traveled to Monterey by myself to check out the area. It is beautiful there. The mountains are amazing. The food is just incredible, and the people are wonderful. So I felt completely safe the whole time. There's, nothing. Now, of course, anytime you travel somewhere foreign, you need to be careful. Anytime you travel anywhere, you need to be careful. You need to look around. You need to not be walking down dark alleys by yourself, like, come on.
Exactly. If you come, like I live in Brooklyn, right? My area is a beautiful, calm, quiet area. But like, if you go like literally 5 miles away, I'll tell you, Amy, do not walk there at night. Do not go there, right? It's everywhere in the world. Wherever you go, just do your research. Make sure you're in the right place. You're doing the right thing. And you could go there. I mean, Monterey, like the videos that you post on your status and where I've did my own research and checked it out, it's a beautiful city. And there's a lot of amazing people there.
Can we talk about the magic of Monterey really quick? Let's talk about Monterey, Mexico. Monterey is a major, and I should be rolling my R. I'm doing terrible. I'm going to leave all of my amazing Mexican friends to roll the R and make it sound as beautiful as it is. But Monterey is so gorgeous. And the thing about it is there's parks everywhere, great food, like I said, great scenery. It's surrounded by mountains. But what is really cool about Monterey is that it started as a manufacturing hub. And then as the city grew, the manufacturers moved out to the outskirts of the city. So now inside of the city where we're going to be, There are beautiful parks and museums that are based on different manufacturing things. So actually, where we're at in Cintermex, our venue where we're hosting Evo Latam, it's gorgeous, by the way. And we're having the Ecom Connect party, which is the party we had last time. It's after the first day of the expo. We go and we have a big party, and the whole thing has big windows open up to see the view of the town.
Wow.
And in this park that's surrounding Cintermex, there's all these artifacts from manufacturing steel and different products. And it's just really, really cool to see this manufacturing history. I've never been anywhere that celebrates the history of manufacturing in their town. It's just incredible. So they have a river walk. So I have a river walk here in San Antonio, but we're going to spend some time there. There's beautiful parks right around Cintermex. We have a special dinner planned inside of one of the museums. We have and of course, you'll be joining us for that. And so it's just going to be such a cool, unique experience. And we're going to have at least double the manufacturers we had the first time, and all different categories. So definitely, you guys come and check it out. And if you have any questions for us, be sure to just reach out anytime. You can reach out at info@evolatam.com. So let's talk about, before we sign off today, let's talk about how to register for evolatam.com. I'm going to share my screen and just show everybody really quick what this looks like. I'm going to go to, so here is evolatam.com. And can you see that right now, Ephraim?
No.
You don't see it? Oh, I guess I have to show it on the stream. There we go. So if you guys go to evolatam.com, you're going to see this here. You can register for free right here. And here's all the information about what's happening. Let's watch the video really quick. It's a very quick video kind of showing what the expo is all about, all the different booths. You're going to expect education. We have 2 days of education on the stage with various speakers teaching about everything from importing, shipping, and of course, sourcing and working with suppliers. We have simultaneous translators that are able to translate into English or Spanish, depending on what your language is. We also have translators walking the floor, so as you are visiting the vendors, you can pull a translator aside to help you. Most of our vendors are very good English, but just in case you do have that language barrier, we got you covered. And here's Ecom Connect. We have a great DJ. There's my husband dancing. We have a great DJ. We have a great time, and it's manufacturers and attendees coming together and bringing together all of the culture.
Welcome to Mexico City, here for Evo.com. Come join us.
So we got the money man, Robbie, there. Evo Latam, that's what it looks like, and we can't wait. This next one's going to be 2 days, and you can register for free. You just got to get yourself to Monterey. And you can see we've got the trade show, we've got 2 days of education, and we have the networking with Ecom Connect and all the different product categories that we've got. We've got people coming from apparel and accessories, cleaning supplies, ceramics, foam and synthetics, grocery providers, handicrafts, health and wellness, injection molding, leather goods, metal goods, office furniture, office supplies, plastics. Last time we had a biodegradable plastics company. They were so cool. It was so awesome. Patio and garden, plasticware, plush, skincare and beauty, and wooden products. So lots of opportunity here for you guys to source. Get in there, check it out. And you just have to come down here, scroll down. And of course, we have Tactical right here on our sponsors list. And you just come down here and you fill out the attendee registration form, and we will get you registered. Like I said, it is free to attend. And you can buy your Ecom Connect ticket right here. That is a $30 ticket. So it's very easy to attend that. And we include the food and the drinks and the entertainment for Ecom Connect as well. So yes, so excited to have everybody there. And please, like I said, reach out. Even if you're not sure you can make it, register, because then you're on our mailing list. Check out our blogs. We have tons of blogs about sourcing. And we also have a supplier matching program. So if you don't have your supplier there, you're going to have, we're going to be able to match you, because we have tons of sourcing agents, sourcing companies that come and help out with the expo. So excited about that. If you're a supplier or you're an exhibitor and you want to attend or exhibit, please reach out to us. Go to the website, check it out. I know, Ephraim, you had a great time exhibiting last year, huh?
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it. I love the Mexican culture. Everybody's so friendly and so nice. So it was definitely a breath of fresh air, and everybody wants to learn. It was an amazing experience. So I'm really excited for the next one. I'm really looking forward. Our head of marketing and partnerships, her name is Cindy. Her dad grew up in Monterey, so it's like she's going to be there as well. So it means a lot to her. Like, she's going to be actually in her dad's city where he grew up. So she said it's a beautiful city. So I'm really looking forward.
Yes, I love it. Love it so much. Okay, I'm going to show your email just in case people have questions for you. Thank you so much for coming on today. I have a better understanding now about all the ins and outs. If anybody needs help with shipping, importing, exporting, all the things, Ephraim's your man. You can email him at Ephraim@tacticallogistic, singular. I always mess it up and put an S there. tacticallogistic.com. Thank you so much, Ephraim, for being
here. Thank you, Amy. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thank you, everybody, for watching today. This will be reposted as a replay, and we will turn it into a blog as well. And we'll see you next time. We have lots of other great providers. We're going to be doing lots of awesome live content. So definitely reach out, and don't forget to visit themexicotrip.com if you want to join us on the 7-day all-inclusive sourcing trip where we do factory tours and everything, and you get to be a VIP at Evo Latam. It is going to be a blast. We're doing tourist activities and meals together and just amazing things. So if you want to upgrade your sourcing experience, definitely visit us at themexicotrip.com and tune into one of our webinars there as well. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and we will see you next time.